Welcome to Homecoming with the Downer Brothers. This is Anthony.
And this is Anton.
And we're here for a new episode.
Man, I'm really excited about this episode. Let me tell you. We have the mobile home elite investors. And when I talk about like power couples, man, this is like goals.
It is goals. And the thing about it too is, I mean, we're in real estate. That's why people know about the Downer Brothers.
Yeah.
But I didn't know about this real estate. And so that's why I can't wait to hear what you all have to say. Can you introduce yourself? Tell them who you are and where you from.
So I'm Sharnice Williams.
Yes, and I'm Byron Salas.
And together we make up the Mobile Home Elite Investors. So we here from Chicago. I'm from the south side of Chicago.
Yes, and I grew up in the South Burbs, Hazel Crest.
All right, know what? No doubt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, on Homecoming, we ask people where they're from, and individually, we want you both to tell us a little bit about when you were growing up, not just where you grew up, but was there any exposure to real estate or business or financial literacy within your family, within your community? Like, what did you learn when you were growing up?
Well, so as far as my upbringing, like when it comes to even business, entrepreneurial journey, like all of my family, majority of them just went to school, went to college, got a job. That's all they knew. So when it came to my upbringing, that's all my parents taught me as well. Go to school, get that job, get that degree. That's it. I didn't have any as far as financial literacy, as far as business or getting a business. Like, I didn't grow up on that.
Yes, and I mean, for myself, I didn't see that at all. The only thing I knew about real estate was a realtor. That was the only thing I knew about when it comes to financial literacy. Listen, I love the family, but we come from a spending family. And it was, my mom's motto was, hey, listen, if we ain't got money, we gonna at least look like we got some money. So unfortunately, it was a lot of spending, bad habits. So, yeah, man, that's primarily it for me.
Okay. So, I mean, you guys end up in real estate in a very unique way to most of us,
Right.
When it comes to mobile homes. I mean, what sparked that? I mean, from still digging into your past, there was no one along the way that owned a home or owned a mobile home for that matter. I mean, so how did you get, who sparked this in you all?
Man, so for me, the first thing, I had an uncle when I graduated college, and he bought a 12-unit building in Dalton. And I still didn't know anything about it, but I remember him. He took us to the building, and just from his laundry machine, he had collected like $200 in quarters. Okay. So I was like, man, I could use that $200, man.
Right.
So that's why I kind of started asking questions, like, okay, what's more about this? And he would give me a little bit, but unfortunately, sometimes in families, it was like that information was held. So that was my first exposure to real estate.
Right.
But to fast forward, when my first real estate property that I wanted to go after was a mobile home, and he told me, no, that's a horrible investment. Don't do that. And that was in 2014.
And really, for me, like, this man right here sparked my interest in real estate because he didn't even really get into his journey as far as when we linked back up. He was actually in a position, he was going to get a building, right? Remember? He was going to get a building. So I kind of was there throughout that entire journey. And then at that point, I wasn't even thinking about real estate. I was still working at the time, but I was just there being supportive to him. But I was able to see his inside and the struggles of him potentially getting that building.
So you ended up getting the building or not getting the building? What happened? What happened there?
So it was a building on 79th and Ridgeland. It was a 2-unit. The basement had potential. And the March 2nd, 2017, I went to go do a final walkthrough, the basement flooded.
Oh.
So I go back to the negotiation table, and I'm like, hey, come on, I got to take some money off. Like, what we going to do with this? They didn't seem like they wanted to budge. March 3rd, I go into work, I get fired.
So those really two signs that say you did not want this building.
Exactly.
A flood and lose your job there. That wasn't meant for you.
Yes.
What's for you is for you. So then what happens?
Man, so that's when I decided, like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go into this full-time entrepreneur journey. And at that time, I had enrolled into a life coaching program. So I'm a certified life coach as well. In that program, it was really helping me to be prepared for what was up next. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying hustling, but I was trying to become a life coach. So I'm trying to get clients, but guess what? I ain't got no job, I ain't got no income, and my clients want to be successful. So it was a lot of trial and error in there, and in that time, in that literally a 6 months time span, I had $17,000 saved up. That was gone. I messed up my credit. I went broke, car repo, like literally all chasing my dream. But one thing for me was like, I am not giving up. And the one person that was in my corner when I thought about literally just kind of just like, you know what, like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, y'all. Like, I might just, I don't know. It was her.
Man, it pays to have a partner, in particular a love interest. I mean, that's in your corner. And real corner. I mean, it's. I mean, you can't put money on that kind of support system unconditionally. So, why did you stick around like that? Why did you support him like that?
Man, I saw his potential. And then too, like, he always made me want to go harder in things that I was trying to do. So even, you know, when he talks about his journey and getting his building, he was the one telling me, like, Sharnice, like, you should get a building too, or you should be trying to invest as well. And it's like, when when you're trying to build something or even build a form of relationship with somebody, especially a partnership like that, you want somebody that's going to influence you on a daily basis. So just like his influencing, that just really made me be like, yeah, like, this is my best friend. Like, I'm going to rock with him.
Oh, my best friend. I feel that. Hey, I love it. I support that. We need people that can stick together, and build something together. You know, that's how you build communities. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying from the two of you all. So, what happened? How did you discover a mobile home?
Right.
So, man, I love that question. So, like I said, rewind. I remember my coworker telling me he got a townhouse for $12,000, right? And I'm like, what? And he was just like, yeah, I only put $7,000 into it, and pretty much he made his money back in less than a year and a half. And I'm like, yo, I want to get into this, but at the time I'm like, money-wise, like, what's that cheap? So I'm looking, I come across a mobile home. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, oh, I might get this mobile home. So sure enough, I called my uncle, the one with he was like, nah, no, that depreciates. Do not get that. Mm. So of course I'm thinking mobile homes out the window. So you fast forward now, like I said, I'm driving Lyft at the time. I'm just trying to pay some bills, right? And I used to always listen to podcasts. And at the time I had somebody in my car, they said, man, listen, can you turn that podcast stuff off? I'm like, all right, so I turned it off. And I'm like, this one, so I saw like in mobile home, how she made like $100,000 in like 6 months. I'm like, I sent it to Sharnice. I'm like, listen to this. It happened to be on Mobile Home Investing.
Right. So he sent the podcast to me, and yeah, like you said, it was on Mobile Home Investing. And at the time, we were both trying to still just get into this real estate journey, just trying to figure out which way we wanted to go, if we wanted to go ahead and do the buildings or just get a single family home. But I heard the podcast on Mobile Home Investing, and it really just spoke to me as far as the minimum capital you need to get started. The credit score, you don't have to have a very high credit score to get started investing. Mm-hmm. And I feel like credit is one of the main things. Credit and capital is two of the main things that kind of hinders people from wanting to go ahead and get started. So it really spoke to me, and I listened to it. I came home and I told him, I was like, Byron, we about to do some mobile homes. Like, we gonna jump into this. Let's go and let's just see what happens.
So you listened to the podcast and then you heard the information, did a little bit more research, and was on fire.
Yeah, and I was sparked. And I'm like, it's
it said that you don't need a good credit score to do this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The average credit score to get in a mobile home park is a 525.
Whoa. That's super low.
Hey, did y'all hear that? Did you hear what he just said?
Man, that gave me pause. I'm like,
because I know there's somebody right now that's like, man, my credit isn't that good, and I don't have a whole lot of money saved up, man. How do I start? Where do I start? It sounds like mobile homes might be the way to start, even if you do want to end up in a brick and mortar.
Exactly.
It's not about where you end up; it's about where you start.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was about to get off into something. I'm like, hey,
it's like preach.
Let me get into it. But okay, so you know what? We're gonna move in. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the pop culture moment. So right now, I looked up the pop culture moment. One that stuck out to me, you know, because we do have a woman here today on this episode. I found this one about the woman that's leading the way for urban farming in the nation's capital. While hauling in compost to build up the farm's soil, Taylor simultaneously worked with council member Grosso with students who are doing pro bono legal work and food farming advocates on I Want DC to Grow, a policy campaign designed to support her own goal as well as others in farming in the city. So the efforts led to the passage of the DC Urban Farming and Food Security Act, which allows a 90% reduction in property taxes to owners of vacant lots who create partnerships with independent urban farmers. So known locally as the DC Farm Bill, the legislation allows property owners who are exempt from taxation to pass the exemption to the farmer. That's powerful. It also allows would-be growers to submit proposals for leases to cultivate unused public land. So now, I mean, DC is very much like Chicago. It's a big urban city, and we have all these vacant lots. I think we need something like that here in Chicago.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Because I've read about like Detroit having a pretty robust like urban gardening or urban farming going on. You're right. I don't know. I feel like I do see a lot of like gardens.
I was gonna say that.
And the gardens like have some like peppers and cabbage.
No, but I think this is taking it
not
further
to the level of farming though.
Not to that farming
Because
level.
my thing is, I mean, you go down 63rd Street, you go down, let me think, 63rd, 75th. There's some stretches of especially over in Inglewood.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can pretty much go all through that neighborhood and see all these vacant lots, and many of them are city owned. So I'm like, well, while the city hasn't sold it yet, why not get into a program that allows people to make a profit from farming and being productive on that land instead of it just sitting there looking all ugly and unkept. You know what I'm saying? And it probably would reduce the city's liability as far as, because they have a responsibility to keep to keep it cut and this and the other. Well, why not make it productive? Actually, maybe the city can make some money too in partnership with the urban farmers. So I mean, anyway, property taxes. We know property taxes can be a big issue. So let's talk about that. Mobile homes. What's up with the property taxes on a mobile home?
Well, you see, I lick my chops when we talk about this. So I'm gonna give you an example, right? So 2 examples actually. We have a lot of our mobile homes that when we first started, we had them near Rockford, Loves Park area, right? When we first started, property taxes on our mobile homes yearly were $160.
What?
$160 for the year.
Man, that's like 5%.
No, I ain't done yet.
I
ain't done yet. So now we got property over. We start going to Indiana, right?
Yeah.
Indiana. We have some properties in South Bend. I'm gonna give you guys a story. I go, they tell me, hey, it's back taxes owed. So in my mind, I call her. I'm not freaking out, but I'm like, hey, you know what? Like, man, we got some property taxes. Man, you know what? So I go to the thing and say, how much? She said, $37.
$37. Okay, wait.
Come on, man.
So
it's like one-off situations.
$37. No, how much did the I mean, I can't even talk. I'm talking about
right. Yeah, follow up. I said, like, how many mobile homes I'm about to buy right now?
How much did the mobile home cost that had $37 in back taxes?
$3,000.
$3,000. So tell me, what was the strategy for this? I mean, it's $3,000 plus $37 in back taxes. What was your strategy? What were you trying to do there?
So I love this deal. This is one of my favorite deals. So this particular deal, we offered seller financing. So what we did was we took a family. We understood, hey, you know what? You guys need affordable housing, right? So the average rent in South Bend was $800 for a 2-bedroom. So that's how we kind of managed it. Now, mind you, in a mobile home game, if you're doing business on a park, you have to somewhat split your margins with the park because it's called lot rent, right? Like HOA fees.
Right.
So that lot rent at that time was $372 because we were getting $428 a month from it.
Okay.
We put them on a 5-year term. Okay, 5-year term. If you look at that, we were getting $428 a month. At the end of that 5-year term, we made $25,680.
Cash flow.
700% return on investment.
Cash flow.
Yeah.
So at the end, they own the property, but you've been cash flowing for 5 years
Yes.
to the tune of $25,000.
Yes.
Did y'all hear that? Sean, did you hear that?
Look, man. I was like, sign me up, coach. Put me in the game, coach.
I mean, man, it sounds like the Downer brothers need to move some of our money over onto the mobile home side.
Yeah, we need to diversify. I mean, flipping is great, but this sounds like something we need to be getting into.
Bro, I mean, actually, it's already done. It's already done. You know what I'm saying? The word is powerful.
Oh,
it's
man.
already done.
He went to church on it.
Hey.
It's already done.
Hey, you know what, though? At this point, why don't you give us Anton's definition of the day?
Okay, Anton's definition of the day. Real property. fixed property, principally land and buildings. Now, we've been talking about mobile homes. Guess what, y'all? That's real property too. And it is land as well, because there's land under those mobile homes. So tell me, do you buy the land, or is it possible to buy the land in the mobile home park?
Yes. So it's two ways. If you want it, we tell people getting started, do a deal on a mobile home park, because everything is already situated, right? They have for the gas lineup, they have for the electricity. You're pretty much renting out that land. But like you said, turning into real property, real estate, putting it on your own land, right? You can actually develop that land and have it. And if you're an investor, you can charge for the land and for the house, and you can collect the quote unquote lot rent forever from the land.
All right.
Yo,
I'm trying to digest this.
So when you have, let's say I own a $10,000 mobile home and I situate it on your lot, what's like the average cost of paying a lot fee? Like monthly, I guess.
Nice. So in America, the average is $375, right? And closer to Chicago, like since we're in the Chicago area, they $800 a month, right?
That's not cool.
Yeah. So the further you get out, the cheaper it is.
Okay.
All right. So you have to you factor in the purchase price, the renovation price, how much you're going to be paying in lot fees per month, and then versus how much rent you can collect from someone who, if you decide to keep it and rent it out for cash flow, as opposed to flipping it, and now you got your money and now you're moving on to your next project.
Yes.
So basically, I could buy a $5,000 mobile home cash,
Yes.
and then rent it to somebody else. Like if it's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath, does it rent to the same, relatively the same rent as a 2-bedroom, 1 bath apartment?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And the thing, your upsell is you don't have nobody living upstairs, downstairs, side to side. You pretty much have your own asset.
Right.
Right. So, man, we should have discovered this a long time ago. Where were y'all at?
Yeah.
Where were y'all at?
We here now. We was learning. Now we here now.
So explain to our listeners right now, like, are you guys holding for cash flow and flipping, or are you just exclusively flipping? Like, what is your strategy and why?
I mean, really, we do both. Like, when we first got started, we were strictly flipping, because the thing was we wanted to build our capital up. Once we got that capital up, then we started purchasing and then holding them for cash flow.
Yeah. And the cool thing, you get people that actually, like, they'll buy their home up, they'll get the income taxes, and then they'll just go ahead and purchase it up.
I was thinking the exact same thing
Bro,
about my
when we get our
income taxes.
Should we get with the mobile home elite and use our?
I truly believe we should be getting with the mobile home elite investors
Hey man,
right away.
We might have to document this because the Downer Brothers, when we do stuff, people want to see it. So we're gonna have to, make sure they see
We're
it.
gonna do that too.
Y'all with it?
Oh, we
Of
went.
course.
All right. So look, I'm gonna ask y'all a question that we always ask people, and it's about your dream, plan, execute moment, right? So it could be from the past, it could be from the present, or maybe even something that you're working on right now. But something that you dreamed of, the plan that you created for it, and the actions you took to execute that. Tell us about it.
Okay. So my dream when we first started this was mobile home parks. That was my ultimate dream. So the plan, the biggest thing, we had these huge Post-it notes, right, that we have. And so in our office, it was literally for the first week just literally planning it out, putting the numbers down, how we're going to get it done, how we're going to get funded. As far as execution, the execution part was I've been able to even, I say link up, but actually park owners, they're willing to invest our first deal and give us equity just to show us the ropes. So we have 2 park owners that gave us that option. So for us, it's like, do we learn the ropes, or do we just go ahead and get our own funding and get our own park? So man, just to say the dream, like when we first started, I was happy to flip houses, but the dream was to go bigger. And now, present day, that's what's on the line. That's what we do. We cold call mobile home parks. The plan is still in place, and the execution is literally phone calls and communication.
You know what? My question, I'm listening to you, and I'm like, when you say mobile home parks, are like you're trying to buy the actual land
Oh yeah.
that the mobile homes are sitting on?
Yes.
Yes.
And what are you trying to do? Buy one lot at a time, or are you trying to get a row of lots, or I mean,
Yeah.
what do you
How
mean?
does that work?
Whole thing. So, for example, like our thing now, one of the mentors I had, he told me, he said, you need to go large. He said, when I first started, I was buying mobile home parks that had 30 pads, 20 pads. He said, I want you to go from 50 up to 100. Because you have to think about it. Think about the cash flow on that, right? I said the average lot rent is like $375. So what most park owners are doing, they go in and they increase it because that's way lower than apartment rents.
Right.
That's because right now mobile homes are the only non-subsidized affordable housing left in America.
Right. So you can't.
Whoa.
So you can't use a Section 8 voucher to live there.
No.
Okay. That's what they mean. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So you trying to get the whole park? You trying to get like 50 lots at one time?
Yes.
So do the mobile park home managers do they sell the lots individually, or you don't have to buy the entire park at once?
So normally they don't. Normally they don't sell the individual lots. It depends on the owner, right? So right now, out of 44,000 mobile home parks, only 4,000 are corporately owned. And so it's like a gold rush now. Everybody is moving because they see the cap rates are. For example, like if I buy a park right now that cap rated at 10%, I can go and raise lot rents and increase that to anywhere from 10 to 12% just by increasing my lot rent.
Right.
Man, it's a lot.
Now this the thing is,
Because I think about like people who own their mobile home, who've been in that park for like 20, 25 years.
But never own the land.
They don't own the land, but they still own their mobile home, so that must feel good to them in a way that renting forever doesn't feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about taxes.
Yeah.
Think about what they pay on taxes, right? And then them only paying $375 or $400. Think about some of our taxes here. You paying we paying $5,000,
Right.
$6,000.
Absolutely.
So.
Did you have a dream plan as a moment, or was that
I
it?
mean, yeah, that's definitely a part of our dream. That's like both of our dreams. But
Okay.
definitely, I feel like outside of that, on my half, and I feel like for him as well, the biggest dream we had, even when we were in the beginning, like flipping and getting the cash flow, we always wanted to teach this. We always wanted to share this with our people to let everyone know that this is another way for you to go ahead and get started investing right now.
Right.
So that was the dream. The plan, of course, sit down. Let's come up with courses. Let's come up with an ebook. Let's come up with some boot camps. Let's do these live meetups here in Chicago that we do to teach our culture. Like, come on, let's invest in mobile homes.
Moving from being strictly transactional to being transformative.
Yes.
You're transformative when you are providing a service to people and educating people and giving the education and the awareness and the access to be able to change their lives.
Yes.
Thank you
Man,
for what you're doing.
yo, that's huge.
Yeah.
That is huge.
Hey, when you find your niche, or as some people say in the church, your calling, you know what I'm saying, you live in it. So man, kudos to what you guys are doing. I mean, that's why we wanted to have y'all come on Homecoming with the Downer Brothers.
Plus y'all from the Chi, just like we are.
Exactly.
We've had a lot of people coming in from like New York and like New Orleans and Lafayette, Louisiana, and all these different places. But we finally getting around to the city of Chicago, man.
Yeah. So I appreciate it, especially 'cause, if you grow up in Chicago, I'm telling you, I never saw a mobile home. I didn't.
We didn't
Right.
either.
Not, you know what I mean? I mean,
That's crazy.
It took a long time for me in my little travels to be off into more in rural areas, and then I saw a mobile home park. But y'all, you got my mind wide open.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right,
Yeah.
so this is Homecoming with the Downer Brothers. So I'm gonna ask you first. When you hear the word homecoming, what does that mean to you?
It really makes me think of home. Like just home and just the feeling and just surrounding yourself with, like-minded people, like-minded individuals.
What about you? What is homecoming right off the top?
Man, the first thing, of course, college, right? Homecoming. And this right here, the atmosphere is like everybody's back. Whether we here for the first time, and it's just, man, it's a special feeling. It's a special feeling.
Yeah. So I always lead with that because I want people to really be in that feeling about what home or homecoming or what that means to them, because we also want to do things. We want you all to like tell us about an organization or a cause or anything like that that you know
That you all
affects
support.
change that you guys support? Is there any organization that you guys support or any kind of cause that you guys would like to support?
Yes, for sure. So the first one, man, when you guys had the event for the Bahamas.
Yes.
And we got
Yeah.
that, and when you guys sent us that message, we went in our closets and we literally
man.
collected
Yeah.
as much stuff as we
appreciate
could.
that.
We really
I think
appreciate
I brought
that.
like we had like 2 big garbage bags. I
Right.
brought everything in my closet. I'm like, look, give it.
That's
Yes.
what's up.
Yeah, that actually made it onto a 53-foot semi truck.
Wow.
8,800 pounds worth of non-perishable food, water, and of course the
Wow.
clothes that you all gave were added
All
to
on
that
that balance.
sum.
So
Oh,
so
man.
what you all donated is either sitting in Florida about to make it over to the Bahamas or it's already in the Bahamas. So somebody
Yeah.
is benefiting
We're sending
directly
it to
from what you
Grand
did. So we
Bahamas.
appreciate that.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
All right.
We love it.
Yeah. So you guys just believe in service and giving, apparently.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So we appreciate that. So I don't know. Dang, we kind of ran right through it. I mean, we got to it.
Yo, like that's an incredible feeling when you learn. I never forget when I learned what 3 times 2 was 6. I learned when I put 3 fingers up on this hand and 3 fingers up on this hand, and putting those together made 6. And I was like, wow, my mind is blown. That's how I feel about this mobile home thing right now.
Right.
I was like, this been right in front of my face, all driving I-57 down to U of I in Champaign and seeing those mobile home parks.
Right.
How did I not realize this was a thing?
All right, so you know what? This episode is going to go out there to the public, and it's going to be there forever. Let's just make a pledge right now that we make it, that we buy, the Downer Brothers will buy at least 1 mobile home
Yes.
Yes.
in 2020.
Yeah.
And we will document it, and we're going to be working with you all personally to make that happen.
Let's go.
Yeah.
In 2020, y'all heard it here. It's gonna be going out there, and we will make sure to follow through. Hold us accountable too. You know,
yeah,
come into the
sure.
comments and go ahead and say, "Hey, y'all said y'all was getting one in 2020. Don't let the whole year go by. We on it. We on it."
Now we just need you all to let people know how to reach you.
Oh yeah, for sure. So man, you can find us. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at Mobile Home Elite Investors, Facebook Mobile Home Elite Investors. Subscribe to the YouTube channel MH Elite Investors, and if you have any questions, info at mobilehomeeliteinvestors.com.
You heard it right there.
That was Byron right there.
And I'm Charney.
And Charnice
Charnice.
right here. Making sure y'all, yeah, man, remember those voices. And by the way, rewind and write that down. Facts.
Right. And you know what? They're definitely going to be. We're all going to be working together on these seminars to further educate people. If y'all don't know, the Downer Brothers and Mobile Home Elite, we are part of the new Avengers that will bring in all this
Yes.
information when it comes to real estate, business, and financial literacy to a mobile home near you. All right, so that wraps it up for us. This is Anthony,
This is Anton.
and we're the Downer Brothers. And
If you want to reach us, you go to The Downing Brothers on Instagram, thedowningbrothers.com to find our merch, to listen to our podcast, the links to a whole lot of our videos on different TV channels that we've been on. And if you want to learn more about our events, it's all on that website.
That's right. So check us out. We'll be seeing you soon.